Good day, on Derek Does, we're doing this. Hi, welcome back to another Derek Does. I'm Derek, and if you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment, thumbs up, all that stuff. Today, we are doing this. This is a slouch hat. Slouch hat? I'm not sure if it's a slouch hat, a slouch hat, whatever it is. I found this, as usual, at the thrift store. This was actually in the Halloween section because the Halloween stuff's coming out, and somebody donated this, and I was walking by. Usually they have cheap hats there, but then I saw this and I said, well, that's not a cheap hat, that looks like a vintage hat. And sure enough, it is. This is an a real Australian military slouch hat. Slouch, whatever you want to call it. This one is from 1956. I'll do close-ups and everything like I normally do so you can see all the close-ups of how things look and everything. And this is from the Northcote, I don't know if the T is silent or the E is silent or not, hats, Pty Limited, and it is labeled by the soldier that had this. It is not in fantastic shape. It did have holes all over the thing, and I'll show you that, and I'm not sure. Maybe if you're more of it might have been pins, because it kind of looks like it might have had pins all over this thing. And it's also missing its Rising Sun badge, which would have been here. That is the standard Australian Army symbol for this sort of hat. And the little hook's missing too on it. But the hat itself is here, and it's not bad. It's got the holes where obviously there was pins just everywhere on this thing. This might have been a decorative thing, or maybe it's the soldier put all his medals or something on the hat and hung it or something along that nature. But I'll show you this hat. It's pretty cool. It's a little small for me. It's a 7 1/8 and I'm a 7 3/8, so it's actually 2 sizes, 2 down. So it kind of just fits on the top of my head. I need it to be a little bit bigger, but it is kind of cool. The Northcote hats, which I did look up. This one's 1956. They started making hats in, I believe, the mid-20s, and they actually closed down operations in 1960. So this is pretty much at the end of it. Now there's other hat manufacturers all over Australia that make these hats. They still make these hats. I believe Australia adopted this hat in like the 1880s, but this type of hat had been worn for centuries before, really. And many nations have this style of hat. It's not an uncommon hat to find that people just have. So if you ever find one of these, they're pretty common, I think. I would assume more in Australia or the UK, those areas, or France, you could probably find these pretty easily. But here, obviously, not so much because we don't have that population here. So this is a hat, and let's take a look at it close up. First, let's do the wearing like I normally do, where normally I would show you what it looks like worn. And again, this is a size a little small for me, so it's fitting on the top of my head. Generally, these hats are always curved up, and they would clip up here on the left side. And that was for a rifle to be slung over your shoulder, and then that rifle wouldn't hit your hat. That's the reason they do that. It looks fashionable and everything, but it actually has a purpose. And then, of course, if it's really sunny, you can take that down and have a full hat. But if you're on patrol or parade or whatever, you can put it up like this. So this is what the hat looks like. And again, it normally would have a badge here, and I'll show you those pictures, but this is what it looks like as just a bare naked hat. It's a pretty cool hat though. Not too big. It's a nice size. All right, so here's the hat. Again, it is a little misshapen. Could use some shaping, but you can just kind of see as I spin it, the main looks of it. It has a nice little decorative band that goes around it, and it's like, it kind of looks like a pith helmet almost in that same style, which makes sense for Australia since they're very deserty for the most part. You have vent holes at the top on both sides. And this is where the little clip to attach, and you can see it's gone. It would have clipped there. And then this is where you can even see the outline of the rising sun that was there originally. Now you can also see what I was talking about, all these holes. It had something on there. If you know what it was, let me know. And also had something here too, looks like something was put through that because there's a definite circle that was there, but it has these matching holes. I don't know if it was, I don't know what it was really. Let's look inside. All right, so here's the inside. Well, actually, you guys might be interested. It is, where is my, which way are we at here? Here we are. About just shy of, well, about 3¼ inch brim on this, in case you're wondering what that was like. This one still has, since it's original, still has the leather band, and you can see there it says North Coat or North Cote Hats Pty Limited, and it's a 7/8 1956. And then the soldier, also I'll pull this up for you. He wrote his name, D. Braha, and it has, it looks like a V, either a B or a E H S. If you guys know what that means too, let me know. I don't know much about the Australian Army and their abbreviations for things and all that nature, but if you do, let me know. It's a pretty, it's a thick, I mean, it's a nice thick felt. It's got some heft to it, so it's probably a, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch thick, or not quite an 1/8, but maybe an 1/8. It's a pretty heavy duty hat. Obviously it's seen a lot of use just from its weathering and everything like that, but this is it. It's a nice hat. It's kind of crushable, so you could, you know, this would be a good travel hat. You could crush this in a bag and probably pop it out and you'd be fine. Like there's not a ton of starch in this is what I'm kind of saying, like more of a cowboy hat, that sort of thing. And then has a nice brim around it. It's a nice hat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Australian Slouch Hat. Hope you learned a little bit about it, and if you see one of these, pick them up. They're kind of cool. I mean, you don't have to wear them like this. You can wear them like this, and it's just a nice outdoor hat. Obviously, this one's been squished and would need a little bit of work to get it back into its shape and everything. But again, this is as I found it. It was just a thrift store find. It's just kind of cool. It is vintage. It is 50, almost 50 years old next year. So, no wait, sorry, almost 70 years old next year. I had my dates off. So it's a 70-year-old hat, 69, not too bad. So, if you see one, get one. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next Derek Does. Thanks for watching.